Hey everyone, welcome to another video review Saturday, and I thought this week I would just go ahead and continue the trend of taking a look at the different home video media I have for each of the films in the franchise. Today we're going to look at Jason Goes to Hell, and for those of you that have been following my writing for the last couple years, you know that this is quite frankly probably the most fun movie out of the franchise to watch, I feel, and my second favorite in the entire series, which I know to this day still blows people's minds, considering I run a Friday the 13th website, and that most people who would think a guy who runs a Friday the 13th website would be more of a purist when it comes to the franchise and adore the original films more so than the later films in the series, especially the New Line series, which most people despise. However, I like this movie a lot, and I like the fact that the filmmakers embraced a different storyline, but in doing so they also kept with the traditional mythos that was created with the original films. You know, instead of taking Jason to space or taking him to Manhattan, they kept the story in Crystal Lake. They gave Jason more of a personality. They gave more of a backstory to why he may be in existence, and on top of that, it has the best gore effects in the entire franchise, some of the best kills, and some great characters like Creighton Duke, and everybody agrees that Creighton Duke is one of the best characters in the entire series. And so you throw in some of the best gore effects in the entire franchise, some great characters, some background to Jason, FBI SWAT guys blowing him up, and how can you not love this film? But I understand that most people don't like the body hopping and the fact that Jason is some kind of evil demon, and I totally get that, and I respect everyone's opinions, but I think for what this movie was, it's a great entry in the series. So, enough of my reasons for loving the story and the movie. I'm going to probably have a lot of people think, man, you don't have a lot of media for a movie that you really like, and it's true. Realistically, there's a lot of different DVDs out there and VHS copies of this movie that, quite frankly, I just haven't wanted to get because it's really readily available to buy online. You can buy any of those DVDs from the UK or VHS copies pretty easily and without it costing very much, so I never really worry about it. I try to focus on getting things that are harder to obtain, especially from the older movies in the series, so that's why this one I haven't gotten into too much yet, but I did get some of the harder to find items. So at any rate, I don't have a lot, but I do have the US Laserdisc, I have the Japanese Laserdisc, the Japanese VHS. This is the director's cut US VHS version. This is the Japanese DVD in a CD jewel case, and I believe, and I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure that I read about this, that they only made 1,000 copies of the Japanese DVD case like this. And then here is the US DVD release, which has both versions of the film. We'll get into that. But why not just start with that, I suppose. The DVD for Jason Goes to Hell has both the unrated and director's cut, and for most people who've seen this movie, when you went and saw it in the theater, and then you saw the home video version like I did without even knowing it was a director's cut, you saw almost a completely different film in a lot of ways, and that's what really kind of like got me really interested in liking this one particular movie. Nothing too special about the DVD release. This was the original New Line release. I don't remember how many years back they put this out there now, but I think it was like 2002, I believe it was. But there's the back cover. The DVD menus was a big deal back then. And at this time, they were still putting DVD inserts inside of the DVDs. Nowadays, companies don't even bother putting inserts in at all, let alone something that has not only the poster, but has some pictures from the film and a track listing. So that's the DVD with both versions on on there. Okay, and then we'll just get into the US VHS. Now this is only the director's cut, and this was, I believe, the first director's cut to be produced and released on VHS. Before, this was back in '94, and there was no such thing as, hey, go buy a director's cut of a movie. And so this was, kind of a big deal I think in the industry. And I bought this used at a grocery store because, as many of you older people know, that you couldn't just go out and buy VHS copies of movies at 3 or 4 months after a movie got released. Usually the retail price for VHS started off between $89.99 and $110, until like a year later then they reduced the cost down and they could start selling it to the general public at a cheaper price. So they had two versions. They had the director's cut, and they also had the theatrical cut, and really the only difference in packaging was down here it was red, and I think it said theatrical cut, I believe. But that's the only difference between the two versions, at least there. And then there's the VHS label for that. So that is that. I guess we'll get into the Japanese VHS. This is the cover that has become, I guess, pretty popular amongst the fans for a cover. We have Japanese lettering down there, and on the back, a few more pictures. Nothing too substantial here, and really you won't be able to read most of this because it's in Japanese. And then here is what the label on the tape looks like, if I can get that to focus a little bit better. Then we'll move on to the Japanese DVD. Like I said, this is one of, I believe, only 1,000 copies of the DVD made with this packaging in a jewel case. Subsequent releases for this particular Japanese DVD then was put in the traditional DVD plastic case. But this is pretty cool. I like the packaging. The blood splatter, Japanese lettering is up there. The insert isn't too spectacular, but it has that. There's Jason there, and nothing really on the inside there except for some notes there. Then we'll just get into the Japanese Laserdisc, and that has obviously the same. Now the Japanese Laserdisc has a really cool. I don't know. You probably can't tell. Maybe you can on the video, but it has this really cool foil packaging on there where maybe you can tell with the reflection. It's hard to say, but I like it a lot. They actually did a really nice job of this, and even on the back part, it's got this really cool foil lettering going on. But the back of this is pretty much the same as the back of the Japanese VHS, so there's nothing too different there. And as I mentioned before, in these Japanese Laserdiscs, they come with inserts as well, which US Laserdiscs never came with an insert. So there is the insert it's just a piece of paper, just like the DVD inserts used to be, and just a little bit on the film, photo here and there. The back part of these inserts always make me laugh because they have, like, if you look here, they have the different progressions of Jason from child, and then there's different hockey masks and damage. And then there's the Laserdisc for that particular movie. And really quick, this is the US Laserdisc. The backing, which I really like. In fact, I have this displayed on my wall in my room. So that's it. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.